Hello. My name is Vance Michel, repping Comedy Gang, reporting on God. All right, this is the Funny Papers with Vance Michel. And before I start off the show, matter of fact, I got tweets from the streets. That's right, tweets from the streets. Right now, I got a tweet right now from Walter Ling, and you can follow Walter Ling at Wally Goodtimes. And he tweeted later past this week, he said, "It's crazy that America spent decades perfecting munchies food without weed being actually legal." That is a good question, Walter. And then Harrison Wineweb and tweeted, "When they say someone has died surrounded by his family and friends, it's like, my God, the man was killed by his own family and friends." You can follow at Harry Weinreb at Harry Weinreb. And Sarag Melanian tweeted, "Going for a walk is how I sweep my depression under a rug." You can catch Sarag's tweets at Millennium Falcon. And last but not least, Jason Selin recently tweeted, "Pretty cool that in 2020, the Strokes decided to go back to the tried and true formula of writing good songs." You can follow Jason Chelin at Jason Chelin. Now onward to today's stories that I got in the that I found in the Funny Papers this week, man, because it got real, son. It got real. Now let me tell you what's the news. The news is this, man. In New York State, Andrew Cuomo is producing outdoor comedy shows for the upcoming year. Now, Danny Zolden, the owner of Stand Up New York, and he's been going off recently. He's been capping off recently about how New York independent clubs is shut down, and it's not fair because, everything shut down, but New York State is doing things on the low, and they still ain't showing respect to independent business venue owners during this this pandemic time. Because there's a lot of comedians out there struggling during this goddamn time of not performing. Danny Zolden been capping off. And lately he says, hey, nothing like sticking it to independent business owners like producing your own entertainment program. Yo, this is disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Cuomo announced that there will be pop-up performances at like subway stations and local parks throughout New York City's star-studded events. The shit is going to have Amy Schumer, Chris Baldwin, Alec Baldwin, just to name a few. And me, I'm not down with this. I'm actually down with Danny Zolden. Because if it's like, like festivals that's going to pop up in the state and then not giving local comedians, like my cousin Kirby Kadarius, he's a stand-up comedian out there, and right now he's forced to do shows in his backyard. Matter of fact, he did a special. You could go check him out. Follow Kirby Darius and then check his Instagram. You'll see that he did a little special in his backyard. But I'm saying though, if you're gonna have a festival of Cuomo, then give local comedians in New York a chance to be up in those festivals. Don't fill them with celebrities. The next thing you know, they're gonna pop up with specials and then they get paid from those festivals. What's really going on here, huh? In other news, Dave Chappelle, who was recently diagnosed with COVID, looks like he's back and at it because the boy was performing in Austin, Texas recently about last week. And that's great because it looks like Dave Chappelle is in good health. You know what I'm saying? It looks like he could play basketball, doing whatever the fuck he's doing. But right now, we all know that he's good because we all know that Comedy Central just gave him the millions of dollars that he was looking for. He ain't out there looking like Lil Richard, saying that they ain't give me money for my show. He ain't crying no more. As you know, you can see in the recent news that Comedy Central gave him his millions, and guess what? The Chappelle Show is back on Netflix. Well, U.S. Netflix. I don't know about Canadian Netflix because shit is different out here. Like, we live in a different world. In USA, they crying because The Office is off their Netflix, but over here, I see The Office on my Netflix every damn day. Speaking of The Office, and that wait, before I get on to The Office, though, it's great that the Chappelle Show is back on Netflix, because now I can't feel guilty about streaming this shit on the internet no more. You know what I'm saying? Now I feel guilty. I don't feel guilty about a lot of other shit that I stream. I feel guilty about the Chappelle show because he was the only one I hear crying about, they ain't paying me money, mama. And then after that, when you go, I go watch the, Charlie's Hollywood Stories and laugh at how many times this motherfucker slapped Rick James against the mirror, and I watch that shit for free. And I'll be thinking like, damn, they ain't paid Chappelle that much for this shit. This shit classic. But now you get his bread, man. So that's good, man. And then and I still watch. I could watch that on Netflix if that ever gets on Canadian Netflix. On Canadian Netflix, so it's The Office, and we all know who's in The Office: Patrice O'Neal, who passed away mad years ago. And they was gonna do a documentary. They're gonna do guess what? They're gonna do a documentary. They're gonna do a documentary. It's coming out on Comedy Central next week. And this is made possible because Patrice O'Neal's sister made a GoFundMe crowd thingy, raised money for that, but then it got pushed back because the production company couldn't make it. But then after that, Bill Burr took the project and brought it at Comedy Central. Now they about to make it happen. Bill Burr and Comedy Central made the Patrice O'Neal documentary happen. And this, guys, the Patrice O'Neal documentary will be out next week on Comedy Central, so look out for that. Now, here's another thing to look out for, too. On Hulu, it's a movie called Palm Springs, and it stars Adam Sandberg, Christine Milioti. If you don't know who that chick is, it's the mother from How I Met Your Mother, and J.K. Simmons. You don't know who that is? That's the motherfucker that played Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man movies. The one, the good ones. You know what I'm saying? The one where he yelling and shit. That guy's a good actor. Don't sleep on J.K. Simmons. When you see any movie with matter of fact, when you see a movie with J.K. Simmons in it, check that shit out. Because that boy can act. So look out for Palm Springs. And another thing to look out for, you know what I'm saying, since we got all this time, in a pandemic, because comedy has been a little shut down. There's comedians still doing their thing. They grab the mic, they go out there and goddamn, put their lives on, or they make a podcast. And here's a couple of podcasts of his. Here's one called Rapid Flames. That's a podcast with two comedians named Vance Michel and Peter Bowen. Who's Vance Michel? That's me, motherfucker. And Peter Bowen. That's another comedian from Montreal. And these guys just recently started up a podcast. So check out for that podcast. And check out another podcast called the 34 podcast. And that stars 4 fucking comedians: Claudio Capri, Joey LaFamme, Peter Bowen, and Victoria Blair. That shit comes on every Sunday at 8 p.m. And Jofo podcast. Check that shit out too. That shit comes on every Monday at 8. And I'm going to put the links up later in the description if you want to know where the fuck those podcasts be at, right? And then the comedians, right, we can't perform out on the streets, but we can perform out, on the internet, on the Google and all that. We could do this shit, and we could do it with the freedom of knowing that Donald Trump can't enter these rooms at all. This motherfucker banned. God damn. Anyway, people are doing comedy shows, man. Just like Walter J. Ling and Vance Michel. They doing a show called The World's Smallest Open Showcase. And it's going to be on Facebook Live, emanating live from the World's Smallest Open Mic Facebook page. So please go like that page and tune in at Monday at 8 p.m. for the World's Smallest Online Showcase. And another Zoom comedy show that will be popping up is actually on tonight. So if you're watching this broadcast and you still got the mood for a little bit of comedy, then why don't you go check out Ronnie Ramsey's Unknown Mic. And it's a Zoom open mic. It's going to be at 9 p.m. Now, you guess what? I got one of the comedians that's actually going to be on this goddamn show tonight. How exclusive can the Funny Papers get, man? Yo, shout out to you guys, man. You guys are working it. You guys are a good team. Who am I talking to? The voices in my head. The voices in my head. Anyway, I got one of the comedians that's going to be on the show. Maybe he could tell us about the show. Maybe not. It's a good friend of mine, right? He's been hosting shows. When we were doing shows out there, he had a nice little show at McKibben's, and it was called the Monday Night Open Mic. I don't know. He had a name for it. I forgot. It's been a year. You know, but he'll remind us. I'm sure he'll remind us, man. Matter of fact, I want to introduce a good friend of mine, comedian, Mr. Ben Cardilli. Yes. Hey, how's it going, Ben? See, I switched it up. I got the blazer. I got the Funny Papers blazer today.
You can hear me in this mic? Is it a bit better?
Yes, I can hear you well. Well, good. Hold on. Give me a second right here. I got to turn off that goddamn music back there. All right. Welcome, Mr. Ben Cardilli, to the show.
On Mondays, it was called the Mondays at 10:30 variety hour featuring anything but puppets. That was the official title. But we shortened it to the McKibben's open mic. That was the
That's right. That's right. And you just reminded me though that shit that it did have some music acts. I forgot about that, and then we would switch up the music and the thing.
It was always
it was amazing. It was like a variety hour for real, yo. You say no puppets, but I could have sworn I seen a couple of puppets.
Well, who is it? Sid Harlow that would bring a dildo. So sometimes
exactly, yo. I seen a couple of prompts and a couple of the amazing things. That show had a bunch of classic moments. I'm saying, what was the favorite? Like, you hosted a couple of shows. I mean, how long did that show go before this pandemic? It was like about a year, right?
It was more than a year, yeah.
It was like it was about to have the 2 years before the pandemic.
No, it was probably like a year and a bit. I had started it right after the new year. I started right after the new year. Was it 2019? Went to 2020. Yeah, no, actually, it was probably closer to 2 years. I don't know. I feel like I started it like right after I started. No, I started comedy in 2018, so it was beginning of 2019. Started that show, and then so that makes sense.
That, and then you got the comedy confessional, which is Dope Monthly. Dope Monthly, I feel.
Dope Monthly. It's too bad.
It was a dope monthly.
Breaking my heart bringing this shit up, man.
Yeah, I know. But
yo, talk about something else.
No, but yo, this is what it is, though. It's the Funny Papers. We talk comedy. We gonna talk get heartbreaking, but at the end of the time, we gonna have some laugh because we don't talk all about stand up comedy. We'll talk about comedy as in like what comedy do you love as and shit like that. But yo, it right now it might get heartbreaking, but yo. Remember the good times, man, and I'm telling you, it'll be back. It'll be back.
Can you do me a favor, and can you just list the comedians who run the Dirty Four podcast again? I just love how you say their names: Claudio Capri, Joey LaFam,
Victoria Blair, and Peter Bowen. AKA Claudio Capri, Joey LaFlam, and Peter Bowen. I call this motherfucker P Bones.
I think you have to do the intro for their podcast from now on.
P Bones, like
bringing them up. LaFam,
LaFlam. This guy, he's Quebecer just like me, son. But I would say, yo, maybe I'll do the intro. I mean, that's why I was doing the intros. Now you about to make it sad for me because you know how I was doing the intros.
Yeah, at the
for Art Loft. Yeah. And but it's all good. I mean, we hosted bad shows. What was your favorite moment from hosting shows?
From hosting live shows?
Yeah.
What was my
live shows, Zoom shows, any show?
I used to love to bring Hasher to the stage. That was always fun.
I was going to say that. I was going to talk about that.
He's always like, do your worst. I'm like, all right. Like, I'll do my worst.
Yeah, you push it every week. You push that bar, yo. I was going to say that because when I was going to mention that when you said puppets, you didn't have no puppets, and then.
Well, speaking of puppets, did you remember that one time at confessional? I don't know if you were there that night. There was this crazy guy. I don't know where he's from, Romania or something, and he was there with what I'm pretty sure was a prostitute, his girlfriend, who was just like had no answers to no questions kind of thing. And he wanted to, I think he was messing with Akeem. He was talking to Akeem, and he was messing with Akeem. Kept like calling on, asking him something about his dick, and then he like wanted to do this like puppetry of the penis thing. Like he wanted to bring that. He ended up going on stage and like whipping his balls out.
No.
Yeah. And everyone was just, luckily it was like, there wasn't a lot of people there that night. There was like maybe like 10 people, but everyone was just like, what the fuck? And like I had to go up on the
I remember
after.
that night. I remember that night. I was performing somewhere else, but I got tweets, I got texts about that. It was like,
everyone got
me was in
texting. I
a
went
bench
to
show, somebody pulled their dick out. Like we met up
after.
Yeah, we met up after.
Like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, I met up with I met up with a couple motherfuckers at the what was that place? The place next to the Crowbar.
Oh. Mad Hatters? No, Brutopia?
No, the other shit that had the open mic on Sunday night, late night.
Yeah, Brutopia.
Yeah, man. We met up with Brutopia, and that was the first thing motherfucker said. I walk up in there. It was like, yo, you ain't go to that show? Somebody pull their dick out.
Well, they didn't pull their dick. Like they did like you know what you know when you're a chef, right?
Yeah.
You ever see the movie Waiting, where like the chefs would play that game where they like show you their like beans, and you know, like, he just like did this thing where he's like, it's the puppetry. And he like pulled his balls out of his fucking pants, and then I had to go and like host him off. Like afterwards, I had to go up after Akeem and be like, okay, I was like looking at the floor of the stage, and be like, okay, so this is where the sex crime happened. Let's get some tape around here because like I don't want to stand there anymore.
Word. That's the area I don't even want to be in. Like that place right there got a whole different vibe. Like the aura of that place it's all fucked up now. I can't even step into that shit. Son. That was crazy. That's nuts.
I heard those people that came up to me after like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, yeah. This shit. It's like everybody's so sensitive now, you know. They're just like, oh, that must have been traumatic. Like, no, it was it was like uncalled for, but like, what are you gonna do? Like, a guy's gonna, as kids, we had worse games. We played on each other.
I'm a little traumatic though after I see a penis. Just not like if you're in a place where you're not used to seeing penises, you're just like, whoa, like, okay, you just need a little second to regroup after that. I feel like you need a little second to regroup. I remember.
Well, luckily I was just in the bathroom before that, and I saw my own, so I was like, it was a bit of a buffer, I was like,
so you was already,
I remembered what they look like when I saw his. I was like, oh yeah, it's a little different, but same idea.
Yeah, I remember. Yo, so I'm glad that you were prepared. It sounds like you was prepared. You had dick. You already see the dick.
It's almost like I knew it was coming.
Came out. You was in the dick zone and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I know. I know I need a couple seconds because I remember one time I walk in after it was between parties, and then I just seen somebody passed out in the grass with their dick out. And they didn't even know their dick was out. I was really trying to tell them like, yo, your dick is out. But he wasn't trying to hear me that his dick was out. Yeah. He wasn't even trying to hear nobody. Like a couple of people kept passing, walking by, and this guy was passed out on the lawn and his dick was out. And until two cops came and said, like, hey, sir, man, you what's going on with you? You live around here, your dick is out. Like, it was just like
took him a couple of questions to get there.
Yeah. Like his dick was still out, like while talking to the cops. He didn't give a fuck. Like his dick was out. I'm like, wow. And then I'm watching this with my friend. My friend, he laughing and giggling and shit. And I'm taking videos and shit. I still got this shit on my Snap. The shit comes up on my memories from time to time and shit. You know what I'm saying? And then
sometimes you just want to, you just want to lie out in the grass and wait for someone to pull your weed.
Yeah, but it took me a while to recuperate though, yo. It took me a while to recuperate. Sometimes I'm just like, yo, this motherfucker though. It just looked like he was just like you say, he was like, it looked like he wanted to just really chill. Like he was looking for somebody to come chill with him, son. Like he's looking for somebody.
He's trying to start a movement,
Yeah, exactly.
Occupy lawn with
with the dicks out. Everybody with the dicks out. Yo, Cardilli, you do mad hustles, you know what I'm saying? And then a lot of people, but we met each other as you're a comedian and all that. We ain't even gonna talk about your La Voix stint. You feel me? So what was a moment that made you felt like you was a comedian?
I mean, it's weird, like because like I was a musician for like pretty much all my life, and I still am. I'm actually just working on a record right now. More of like I put out the comedy album, but now I'm putting out like another serious one with some friends of mine that we started a couple years ago.
Ooh, sounds good.
I think I've always just been a comedy fan. I've always loved comedy movies. I've always been like, I guess everybody who's like the funny kid in high school like thinks they're a comic. It's a bit different when you get started, right? And you're just like, oh shit,
Yeah,
it's tough. You don't go up there with inside jokes with the audience, so you got to start, getting your shit together. But I don't know. I never really had a moment where it's like, where I was just like, I'm a comedian. Like I still don't feel like I'm a comedian. I still feel like
I mean, you did a couple of you're a comedian, man. You're doing. Well, I watch you. You do performances. You tell jokes from your life.
Yeah, I mean, like I like the art form, and I want to, I'd love to give it a good shot and see what happens. But you know how it is. It's just like until you're one of those guys that like does the road and like has a couple hours under their belt. It's like it's tough to say it to you.
I mean, that makes you a mature comedian and everything. But like as a guy that's doing 2 years hosting and everything,
I'll tell you this much though.
Okay.
There is a moment where I realized that. There is a moment where I realized that from just a little while of being part of the comedy community, like I felt a lot more at home there than I did almost in like the larger Montreal music community, because I guess it's a completely different vibe, right? And I realized that like these are the kind of people that I like to hang out with, and we're the pessimists.
Right.
It's like I didn't have to pretend to smile anymore.
Pessimist, sarcastic. Ain't nobody like Montreal. Like I go a lot of places, and a lot of people are funny, but I mean, we got characters that you can't find anywhere in Canada. There's a lot of
variety. Yeah,
there's a lot of variety. There's variety. I mean, there's variety everywhere, but like I always be like, damn, they still ain't got a guy, like they still ain't got an Hammer, like they don't got a Harrison. I never seen one. There's not a guy that'll make me be like, oh, that's like a guy in Montreal. I haven't seen like that. Like we got some unique people around here, and I'm thankful to be from this, man. I'm thankful to be in the scene, swimming in this motherfucking water.
Of course.
Like, what do you enjoy?
So much to the scene, so
exactly.
Go ahead. You're always, coming up with a new way that we can get out there and talk about ourselves and perform. You're always putting up a new mic whenever.
Yeah, yo, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to stay in that water, yo. Trying to see if I could I could get up on a surfboard and ride a wave, But until then, I'm just wading in the water. Just waiting till this pandy open back up. You see me, I'm in the house sweating with the blazer on.
I'm just seeing a Pixar film of you, just like on a beach, and it's just about your life waiting for the pandemic to come to an end. You're starting an open mic with a bunch of coconuts. You just see you in a 3D animation.
And you know what's gonna be crazy about it? It's not gonna be no talking. There's gonna be no talking. Yeah. It's gonna be like it's gonna be like a Mr. Bean kind of.
It's a prequel
cartoon.
To Coffee Talk. It's before you could talk. then you have your coffee after 6 months of no coffee. You make a coffee and Vance can talk again. It's great.
Word. This is gonna be like a 90-minute movie, yo. It's gonna be dope though, yo. Yo, thanks for the ideas, man. You always give me ideas. As you can see, I still use, like, you gave me the idea of saying I put the links up. I still use that shit. So I use that from time to time. Put the links up. If you can't find, so just like I said, if you can't find the podcast I mentioned before, I'm gonna put the links up.
That's good. And then
It's
later
good.
at the
I've
end
been
of the
using
show,
that
there's just a
since.
picture of a mountain lion. It's like that's not a lynx. Come on.
I'm a, nah, all right, yo. Well, it's good that we talk about the comedy lifestyle, even though it's like it's gone. You know what I'm saying? It's gone, but it'll be back. It'll be back. It'll be back. We'll be back. We're talking about this shit in a good light.
This is now a History Channel show. It's about history. It's a it's
I got this good light out of you, so I can still ask you this one good question. I can ask you this question. Hopefully, I get a good response. You know what I'm saying? What did you enjoy the most out of being a comedian lifestyle? All right, what did you enjoy out of the lifestyle of being a comedian?
Well, I guess like one of the biggest differences between doing comedy and doing music and just like being in the comedy scene. It's just like I love just going out, and it's mostly just about talking to people, being creative constantly. It's therapy, not just on the stage, but being off the stage, talking with people that will let you stretch the limits of your imagination before they're telling you you're ridiculous. Like, where's this conversation going? It's like, no, you can go to those like weird, dark places and, enjoy it, experience it, without someone like, you have a conversation like that with someone at your work and they're going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like a minute in, like, why are you talking about this donkey show you saw? And what does it pertain to your life? And it's just like, I'm working on something. Like you can't, that's what I love about the community is you can just go out, have a couple drinks and get really silly. And then, and then actually go on stage and kind of like have like a truncated form of this conversation with the audience and see if any of it like sticks. And it's like you're building something, you're constantly building something, whatever it is. It's like your act, you're chipping away at it, and everybody feels like they got that little accomplishment at the end of the night, and you're all celebrating the effort you put in. So it's like it's nice. It's just like a communal experience, and just it was more fun than like going to a place and like playing acoustic songs in the background and then leaving at the end of the night and be like, I'm sure like one or two people appreciated it, but I didn't really form a meaningful connection there.
No, I hear what you're saying, man. I think that's one of my parts that I really like about comedy too, because like, just like you say, you could say some things at work, and then some people will probably take it literally,
you
or
get
get
fired
offended to it because they just off the bat think that what you said is serious, or they're not even like, because they're at a setting or the social place that they're at, they got a closed mind to what you say. But because it's comedy, stand-up comedy, people come up automatic, like majorly knowing like, yo, what this guy is saying is a joke, and on top of that, their minds are open to anything that you got to say. So like, even if you're saying is partly true or whatever, or weird or quirky, they're like, man, you know what though? Like, he's not alone. I think like that too. You know what I'm saying? Like, that part is open more than being at work or talking.
Comics are much more able to dial in the context of where you're coming from when you're saying something.
Exactly.
They're already giving you the benefit of the doubt. It's like, I know you're not a bad person. I know that you're not a stupid person. I know that whatever you're saying is coming from a place of you're just trying to explore these words that have never been said before and potentially entertain me, or just entertain this wild idea to kind of make us, grasp a concept that we struggle with. That's kind of just like finding a metaphor to like, and that's what teachers do. They find weird metaphors so that everybody can get on board with what is being taught. Like someone who learns in a different way, they're going to find a different metaphor to kind of like show them something. It's all about relating to people in the most powerful kind of way by dialing into something in their life that they already understand, right? So it's like, that's what like teaching is. So it's kind of like us just fleshing through concepts by trying to bring the concept back to something we're already familiar with, right? So like that's, and comics always have that in the back of their head, that it's like, all right, you're saying something, it kind of sounds kind of silly, it might be a stretch, but that's the joke,
right?
And then at work, you're dealing with a lot of the time it's hard to keep that muscle on because some people don't appreciate it at
Nah,
all, you know. They're
you,
just like,
you
"What?"
can't, you can't hold like a open hall type meeting without
No.
saying it's a meeting, and then when you do hold those little water cooler conversations or anything like that, and then you say something like that, yo, they might be like, oh, might send an email. Next thing you know, you might get fired. So it's like,
Yeah.
chill, chill, chill. And plus, I be saying, because you see how when the teachers they be you say that teachers use metaphors. You know who else do that as well? Pastors,
Yeah.
pastors and preachers. That's why I always say, motherfuckers, like, yo, we be holding church every time when we do a show. I be like, yo, we be doing church, yo. I got yo, people be praising, people be work. I'm telling you, when the laughter, when we spit that shit, we spit messages, man. I'm telling you, man, we be
It's
holding church.
cathartic, yeah.
Yo,
For
all
sure.
right. So you was talking about island and shit. Like, I would be like, if you were trapped on a island, what 3 comedy movies would you have? But you know what? Let me just ask you, what are the top 3 comedy movies you think of all time are?
Hold on, I just got my dog's like freaking out because he doesn't understand.
All right, yeah, you go do
doors.
that while I go find me a light, because I was looking for a light to blow this. Oh, this way. Where's my light at?
All right.
Yo?
Vance is gone. All right, what's up, Ninja Turtle?
Who's watching? We ain't got anybody watching. All right, man. Don't worry. They'll be watching now because the Funny Paper just got back. New schedule. I remember when this shit started on Make Way Studios.
Yeah,
now
I remember being there at
we're from the trap. We're doing it from the trap. We're live, baby. Huh?
But you're at home now, right?
Yeah, I'm at home right now. I mean, for Make Way Studio, you know what's crazy? I'm
Unless
doing
the
it
Funny Papers is an essential podcast. You're gonna be there past 8:00. It's no problem. It's like the government has given the Funny Papers the all clear.
It's essential.
Vance can get high at the studio.
You know what I'm saying? It's not even the studio. It's the Funny Trap. The Funny Trap. You know what I mean? It's a fun trap. So yeah, three movies. The Fun Trap. We got movies up in here all the time. Like,
shit.
I fucks with
movies. I think when I was young, a couple of movies that I must have watched thousands of times. I just was so obsessed. I thought they were absolutely hilarious. Just the concept. One was Office Space.
Oh wow!
Do you remember Office Space?
Yeah, I remember those. That's a Mike Judge movie.
Yeah, with like my stapler, and the guy who was like obsessed with his where they kept moving him, and they eventually moved him into the basement. And there's a couple of classic things that you just ended up saying forever. And Milton, there was the guy, Lumberg or whatever, Lumberg or the boss, and they kept mistaking him.
That was like, guy, yeah, he was a fucking jerk. He was kind of like Michael. He was like a harder version of like Michael Corral's the Office Space. Like he was like like Michael Corral. He was like kind of like a soft. You know what I mean? Like he was just like a harder version of that. Like he was more smoother. Like he looked like he gets more pussy than Mike, but they still like on the same type of bullshit, both of them. But like he looks like he get more pussy than Mike because Mike got more of a heart. Yeah.
I love that movie. I love the scene where they bring out the copier to smash with the baseball bats and shit, and and they're doing it at the Ghetto Boys song there. Damn, it feels good to be a gangster. I listened to that song on loop after. Just like, this is the greatest thing. My parents would come into the room like, "Why are you slapping the printer?" It's like it's a vibe. It's a good song.
Snap, son. What's up with it, yo? Hell, snap. Office Space is dope, though. I didn't even know it was made by the motherfucker who made it's made by a motherfucker who made Beavis and Butthead and King of the Hill.
Oh, no way.
Yep, Mike Judge.
I was today years old when I learned that.
Mhm.
Learned that moments ago.
Yeah, word. I just every
Really
day I
funny, though.
find out new shit. Like yesterday, I seen little fun fact for you. The same motherfucker who makes the movies for the Avengers, I mean the music for the Avengers, is the guy who makes the music for who was making the music for Back to the Future.
No way.
Yeah, Alan Silvestri.
This guy's sound is typecast in sci-fi. Look at that.
Mhm. I didn't know he was working in music that long. Hey, yo, so
He
what
just
else?
got Back from the Future.
What Back to the Future is dope. I was watching that the other day. I was like, well, damn, this movie is classic. This movie classic, yo. I was watching
Never go away.
another movie I know that I could is one of my movies though. I think Superbad.
Superbad's great, yeah.
Superbad's another
At the
like
time, it's like, can you imagine? Can you list how many like sayings we got from that movie that we ended up just immediately made their way into like just commonly used expressions, you know? Like
yeah.
half of that movie was like an entirely new language that we learned, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to do that in a way that's also accessible. Like Letterkenny tries to do something like that where it's, you know, obviously it's you know, it's for a specific kind of subculture that'd be like using those kind of sayings, but this is like everybody was going to town on everything that they would say, you know? You'd be shocked how many things like people were not saying before that movie came out. It's crazy. It's really that's a good one, definitely.
Yeah, yo, like I like movies that come in and then that do it. And I knew Superbad was gonna do it. I really had a feeling because when I saw the trailer, I was watching I remember I was watching Knocked Up, and I was with my girlfriend at the time. And then when we watched the trailer, Superbad came on, and I just caught a feeling like, yo, this movie is gonna be like the next American Pie. I know it for this generation because I remember when American Pie came out. And then, you know, that shit's classic for it's like the Superbad for us and shit. Like, and then that shit introduced MILF. Yeah. Nobody used MILF before that shit. And then, yo, I was like, wow. Like now after that shit crazy. And now that you said Superbad, that's right. Nobody even said fuck my life before Superbad. Really? After Superbad, everybody like now we're here. Fuck my life. Like that would be a common shit now right after Superbad because of that famous scene when that guy just fucking dropped the beer case. So like like Superbad did introduce mad shit.
P in the V or whatever. Like that was a whole thing from Superbad. It was awesome. Like that one, and I think one of my favorite movies was Dirty Work. Remember Dirty Work?
Dirty Work with Norm Macdonald.
That movie
wow.
was hilarious. I loved Norm Macdonald in that movie. Just all the little subtle things, because it's such a good vehicle for his stand-up. Like all the little things he says shit that throws things away. I think my favorite scene is when he's he believes that like this building that they're supposed to tear down or get torn down is like filled with like a bunch of hookers, and the girl, like his love interest, is like wants to go in there to visit her grandmother, and she's like, do you want to come up for some tea or whatever? And he's like, no, I gotta go work out. What? He just like immediately questions himself out loud. It's so fucking funny. He just like can't stop smiling. Like
I gotta. It's been years since I see Dirty Work. Yeah, I gotta recheck that movie. But Norm Macdonald, he's great. He's a comedian. Everybody, like most of the comedians that I'll be like, yo, who's your favorite? They be like, Norm. You know, he's Canadian, right?
He's brilliant. Yeah,
everybody
Canadian, has that kind of Canadian. It's like you wouldn't even put it together. He's just such a unique character that like it's like. But then you say he's Canadian. It's like it makes total sense the way he talks. He's very Don Cherry type announcer, but like with on shrooms or on Quaaludes. There, he's a little slower. He's got that
chilling. He's chilling in L.A. now. He's still talking like Canadian, but he's chilling in L.A. with the homie Adam Egget. You know what I mean? Like, like they were doing the Norm Macdonald show. Did you watch that on Netflix, the Norm Macdonald show?
Yeah, which is cool because it was very laid back and kind of like not super polished, right? It was just kind of
Yeah.
It reminds me of now. There's the what's his name? The guy who's Joe Dirt and shit.
David Spade.
David Spade. His show's pretty good. Have you seen his show?
No, I didn't even check his show.
It's the David Spade something hour. It's really funny because he really doesn't take himself that seriously, but he's actually really good. He's got like he's good off the cuff. It's him and just a couple other comics shooting the shit.
I gotta check this out. This is a funny paper.
He does like a monologue, and his monologue is like clearly written by like a handful of writers, and because he's just literally, it almost feels like he's reading the shit for the first time. He's just like doing it from the thing, but it's so funny. He's like, I'm not gonna say this one. He's just like completely off the cuff. It's really it's worth it. I think it's entertaining for
Is the show right now? Is the show going on right now?
I don't know. It's like I've been watching it on Crave. It's pretty, and
because
I see it's pretty recent.
I see the comedy store boys is still getting work. Like they still getting like some of them are doing, if there's an outdoor show that can be done, they getting booked, like they touring, whatever shows is getting done in these COVID.
The New York guys too, it was Sam Morril did a whole special on rooftops. I don't know if I'd call that work, but it's
here's the deal. I'm checking the seed because I know the seed. You know Adam Egget, right?
Adam Egan, no.
Egget.
Yeah. No, I'm
all right, man. Get to know this motherfucker, man.
Stupid.
He's a low key. He's low. I mean, if you watch the Norm Macdonald show, he's the guy that sits there. He's a sidekick.
Okay, right. Let me just.
All right, but guess what, yo? This guy's the top booker at the Comedy Store, right? In L.A.
Oh, right. Yes, of course. Yeah. And I watched the documentary there about the Comedy.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you see him in the documentary looking at even watching the open micers for 2 hours straight. Like
that's commitment, because you know me, running an open mic, I had to chain smoke through the whole thing. Like I can only be inside it for 3 minutes at a time.
Word.
Like leave. It's rough.
Yo, but it's crazy. I can tell you a story where I met the dude. I got to chill with him for like 2 days and shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that shit is crazy, son. He's a nice guy. He gave me the check him out once I get to LA type shit. You know what I'm saying?
What are you doing here?
Yeah, exactly.
In a crate in the back of a freaking train right now, just like
I don't got papers. I don't got papers. If I had papers, I'll be there, yo. I was supposed to go there. I'm telling you, man. If I had papers, I would have went. But I don't got, you know my situation. Me in the U.S. ain't good like that now.
Just go buy some papers and go to the U.S.
I gotta settle for the Canada version or the West Coast version, the Vancouver, BC, which is good. Well, they good. They good. They straight.
Vancouver.
You know what I mean? Hopefully I can turn that shit into Vancouver. You dig? All right, man. I'm glad to have you on my show, man. Before we go, do you got anything for young motherfuckers starting out in the game? Any tips for them or and plus before you go, please plug what you got coming up.
Well, I'm doing a couple of shows. On the 22nd, there's a show. I think it's loosely Valentine's themed, even though it's quite after. But there, you can find the links. I'll be putting it up on my Instagram, at Ben Cardilli. And tonight, I'm doing Rodney's show, the Unknown Mike. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay.
It's pretty much all I got coming up. I'm going to be making a grilled cheese sandwich later, too. If anybody wants a bite of that, you know where I'm at. Just message me at Ben Cardilli for a bite of the grilled cheese, and I'll send it over to you.
All right, make a TikTok, my man. Make a TikTok.
I should make a TikTok, shouldn't I?
Should make a TikTok of Benny C making grilled cheese.
Sounds good. You want to put up a picture of links now?
I'm gonna put the links up.
the links up.
Put the links up. All right, Benny C. Yo, thanks for coming on the show, man. Really appreciated you, baby.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
I no doubt. And yeah, I think oh man, that was a fart. I'm gonna check out that show if I can. That's for damn sure. It's free, right? And hopefully I could get up in there and watch a couple of comedians get their laugh on. You guys check that out too, man. Anybody watching this, gonna watch this later.
It's gonna be great. It's a great lineup, honestly. I'm excited too. Last week I just popped in and watched, and it was a lot of fun. So I think they're doing it good. It's a very decent Zoom show. You probably
all right. I'm gonna check that out. All right, man. That's a Mike's Unknown, right?
Yeah, the Unknown Mike or something. I don't know.
Unknown Mike. All right, man. Popping off from Rodney Ramsey's channel. All right, man. I'm gonna see you later, Benny C.
All right, take care, man.
Hold it down. Peace. All right, guys. That was my guest, Benny C. Y'all already know what it is. It's the Funny Papers, and I'm back. All right, guys. Before I go, I just want to say that, stand-up comedy is on a standstill right now. But it's still going. And we just lost a valuable piece of stand-up comedy recently, though. Donald Trump is not the president of the United States right now. And because of that, comedy is taking a hit. A few comedians don't know what to say. They lost their jokes. They gotta find things to write about because Donald Trump is not, it's not the president. And when he was president, I mean, every day was a joke. Every day, it was something to write up, easy to write up. But, we don't got that right now. A lot of comedians ain't got that. A lot of people who was using Donald Trump as a crutch, it's not there no more. What will happen to these comedians? I don't know. My advice to people that was using Donald Trump as a crutch, as jokes, look to other things to write about. You could just start watching more TV or start reading more books. Start reading more news. Watching more news. Watch other things that excite you and do more things that you enjoy. And trust me, you'll find a way to get out of this Donald Trump hole or void. If it's making you sad. Anyway, that's all I got to say for the Funny Papers. I'm Vance Michel, repping the Comedy Gang, reporting on God. Peace. Get your Funny Papers by liking the Facebook page, The Funny Papers with Vance Michel. And please follow us on Spotify and iTunes and SoundCloud on The Funny Papers with Vance Michel to listen to more episodes.